Our community is ripe for a moment with God. We simply need people that will step into places outside the sanctuary and do things in a way that most churches would find quite unconventional, if not less than orthodox.
New Canaan is born from an attempt to be corporate and churchy and failing, and a genuine expression of men's hearts.
I'm impressed by the fact that some men got together and decided that they wanted to help other men understand the relationship that they have with Jesus Christ and understand the relationship they have with one another because of Jesus Christ. And that has really caught on. I mean, it caught on with me.
Because it's a group of guys, there's a certain increased level of transparency. And that transparency has been, both encouraging in the sense of hearing the honest struggles, the joys, the triumphs, the challenges, the failures that really we all experience.
I was wrestling with identity and just really not happy with myself and my life. And I got a note from a friend that reminded me that her husband had found peace while unemployed by being part of this dynamic Christian men's group. And on October 1st of 2010, I showed up for my first meeting and crawled in the door. And through prayers of men sitting with me that morning, it was a moment for me. And I literally walked out of that meeting that day on a cloud.
I'm inspired each week by the speakers that we have. There's nothing like a testimony about one's life that inspires people.
Every Friday, the men would come home and talk about the speakers and the testimonies, and the impact it had on each of them personally was significant, palpable.
You're just like, man, that was what I needed to hear today. That was just talking straight to me. And that's happened more than I can even count.
Hearing these guys be transparent and telling their stories, it was very appealing to me because I was tired and broken. And hearing guys that say they fall short and not being in competition with guys was huge for me, just to see that you can just love on each other and see that unconditional love.
He has connected with so many men and has some really deep and abiding relationships with them. And I'm just grateful for that.
I was seeking to be with other men. I did not count myself as somebody who had a lot of friends. But in coming to New Canaan, it was a very special place, a place with men, overflowing with men who had that same zeal and that desire to get closer to God through and with Jesus Christ. And that was something that was present at the meetings.
One of the things early on, as I was talking to friend and mentor Dudley Hall about our new men's gathering, New Canaan Society, he said, listen, guys, they'll meet together for a while, but guys like to do something of impact together. And he said, here's what I'm hoping, is that at some point, fairly early on, the guys, instead of just meeting together, will start finding ways in which they are commonly called to something bigger than themselves.
We started a project not too long ago, Homes for Our Heroes, and I contacted the brothers in New Canaan, and I said, you know what, we need help and we need assistance and stuff, and through the power of Jesus Christ in all our lives, we're actually making this happen for homeless veterans throughout the city, and it's just amazing what a group of guys in a society called New Canaan Society can do in a community such as Winston-Salem.
When I was involved in starting a homeless ministry in town, and literally almost everything we needed to help kick off that ministry was in the room, and just asked around the room, and literally God provided through the brothers in the room what was needed to get that ministry started. And the ministry has led to some homeless folks in our community getting on their feet and having a place to live.
I think of the citywide prayer breakfasts and the people that are reached there, the people that are called in to sit around tables together and be reminded of what we can do in this city for God's kingdom and the difference that we can make.
I've gotten very involved with the Winston-Salem Street School, and that came about through New Canaan, which has been very inspirational to me.
Seeing people from so many different churches come together and all the dividing lines are dropped and everybody is just a brother in the kingdom. It speaks to me of the prayer of Jesus that we find in John 17 of may they be one. And so I think NCS is a picture of that.
And so what we're seeing happening, because we've got so many men from different churches and different walks of life who are coming together as part of New Canaan, is we're seeing it as being a bit of spiritual glue that's weaving itself into the fabric of this community.
New Canaan's more about what are our shared struggles, what are our shared challenges, and really getting to understand what makes someone tick. For me, that's involved having lunches and breakfasts with some of the guys, getting to know them, in many cases traveling with them. I've made 4 or 5 trips to the Middle East with several of the New Canaan guys.
God had opened up this ministry in the Middle East that we have impacted thousands of people, especially now the Syrian refugees in Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey, through these ministries that we've been engaging with. And it's just beautiful to see how we prayed. We showed up places like the city of Tyre, holding hands and saying, Lord, would you send workers? Would you send harvesters right here?
At the time, we were going in and out of Malawi and trips to other parts of Africa as well. And Bob Mills and the brothers who regularly engaged in the prayer around the bar were able, obviously, to pray for me, but also to give encouraging words and help me to get focused much more on the call, on the work. And overall, prayer around the bar has been one of the major things that has helped me.
I see things that I didn't see before, that God's intervening in my life and other folks' life, and I think New Canaan, and of course, it's all about Jesus. It's not about New Canaan, it's about Jesus.
I just love to hear the story of Jesus, and I can't get enough of it. And every time I hear it, even when I've heard the same story over and over again, my heart melts. And the guys make fun of me because I weep often. But what I weep is not in grief, but in amazing gratitude that God loves us so much. And if God could change that man in his story, perhaps God can change this man in such a way that others will change simply because of what Jesus is, who he is, and what he does.
Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hand hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.